You know how there's always some new crochet gadget that's just popping up on your For You page? Half the time they seem like they might solve every single crochet dilemma that you've ever had, and the other half the time they just seem so ridiculous and impractical. Well, same. I personally am always seeing these viral crochet gadget videos, and I've even made one myself, but we'll get to that later. But I often don't think to try them because I've just had such mixed experience with these in the past. I think you would be surprised at how expensive some of these gadgets can be, and my fear is always that I spend the money and it ends up being a total gimmick that I never use. So today, you and I are gonna test some of these viral crochet gadgets. Some of these things might be things that you already have in your home and you've never considered using for crochet. And the items that I did purchase for this video were less than $15 on Amazon, so if I do end up hating them, it's really not the end of the world. I have 6 or 7 funny little gadgets that we're gonna try together today, and I'm gonna let you know if I think each of them are worth a try or not. I'm honestly so excited for this, so let's just go ahead and dive right in. So my plan is to start by showing you the viral TikTok that features each of these gadgets. So for each of these, we're going to start by just watching the TikTok that I saw that gave me these ideas. So here is the first one on our list. This is the first one that I saw, and this is something I've seen a lot of other people do as well. Unfortunately, I cannot play the audio because it does have some copyright music in it. But basically, this person is using tooth floss in 2 different ways. So the first is that they're using it as a pair of scissors if you're on the go or traveling, which is so genius. But the second one that I had never heard of or considered is using the tooth floss to sort of make like a very small needle for sewing on buttons. So I'm really excited to go ahead and test this one out with you today. I think this is going to be a really good one. This is the tooth floss that I happen to have on hand, so we're just going to test this with a random tooth floss. I believe this is just Oral-B Satin Floss is what this one's called. But we're going to start by seeing how it works to cut the yarn. So I'm going to try using a cotton yarn for this. This is just what I had on my desk, honestly, and we're going to see if this will work. So all you have to do is remove the tooth floss like this, and then we are going to put the yarn there instead and see how well it cuts. I'm just gonna wrap that around like this and tug, and wow, okay, that worked really well. And I feel like with a cotton yarn it might have been a little bit harder than it would have been with other yarns, which is why I wanted to try this with cotton yarn. So I feel like if this is working with cotton yarn, it's probably going to work with most of your yarns. I am curious to try this with a blanket yarn like Bernat Blanket to see if that works as well, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that. All right, I've got some Bernat Blanket here. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this around. Wow, that was even easier somehow. Okay, that really surprised me. For some reason, I thought that Bernat Blanket might be a little bit more difficult than the cotton, but I'm very surprised by this. So far, the tooth floss is a major win. I can see this being amazing for being on a road trip or being on an airplane where you can't really bring scissors. This is such an awesome little hack because you can just carry this with you and you don't have to worry about carrying scissors or having to throw your scissors away as you're going through TSA. This is such an awesome little hack for that, and this is something that I definitely will be using the next time I'm on a plane. But I'm also curious to try the other part of this crochet hack, which is to go ahead and use this as a little needle. And I don't have anything that needs sewing, but the person in this video basically just took the piece of tooth floss like this, they wrapped it around their finger and then kind of just twisted the ends, and I believe I cut mine a little bit too long, so we might have to trim that. I just trimmed up my floss, and I'm not able to get mine to stick the same way that the original creator did. I've been trying to squeeze it together and twist it, and I'm thinking that maybe my tooth floss is not a wax floss or doesn't have wax on it. So unfortunately, I was not able to get that part of the hack to work, but the one that I was most excited about, which is using this as a pair of scissors, is honestly way better. So I still do give this my stamp of approval. I feel like most people will have some tooth floss laying around, and if you find yourself traveling, this is definitely a major win. This next crochet gadget is probably one of the ones that I'm the most excited about, so let's start by watching the TikTok.
Life does not. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I just think that this is the coolest thing. So essentially these are little prism glasses. I believe it's what's going on here. I think there's some sort of mirror that refracts the image downwards, and so I really don't know, but I did get them. They just came in the mail today. These ones are from Amazon. They're called Lazy Readers, and I believe this was $10. So we're gonna unbox them together really quick and give them a go. This is what it looks like, and I think these are the exact same ones that the person in the video had. And you can see here, they have sort of a, I think I was right, there is sort of a mirror thing going on inside of them. And it allows you to see it downwards while you're looking straight ahead. I'm gonna be so impressed if these work because I am one of those people that just gets a ton of neck pain when I crochet. I tend to bend my neck downward ever so slightly like this, and when you sit like that after a while, it can really start to hurt. But the one thing that I'm concerned about is that I only wear glasses. I don't wear contacts or anything else, so I'm kind of curious to see if I can just put these over top of my glasses. I doubt that it's gonna work. Actually, it does. Whoa, this is really weird. Wow, wait guys, this is actually really weird. I'm looking at the ground right now. Okay, so off the bat, a really good sign if you're someone that strictly wears glasses like myself, these actually fit really nicely over the top of my glasses. I was concerned that I was gonna have to take my glasses off and only wear these, in which case I would have really bad vision because I am someone who has awful eyes. I need my glasses. So that's a great sign right there, and I'm really excited about this. I actually went ahead and grabbed my current sock that I'm working on, which is just a lot of fun. I'm making these socks right now for my husband, and I figured we can try working on that together. I expect there to be sort of a learning curve with this because although the image is very clear and I am looking down, it still does just feel a bit different than using your own eyes naturally, I guess. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Wow, this is crazy. The best way I can describe it is it kind of feels like looking into a mirror, like a reversed image. It's not reversed, but it does have that same feeling of things just feeling a little bit off and having to kind of figure out where you are looking. But wow, I'm really impressed with this. Okay, it's actually not very hard to get the hang of. And it's weird to me that I'm looking straight right now, but I'm also knitting. I don't know if you can see that in the frame, but wow, I am looking at the ground right now. This is amazing, and I highly recommend this. For only $10, this is a really fun thing to just add to your little crochet gadget stash. I could see this being really helpful if you're someone that struggles with neck pain like myself, because I'm just sitting here doing this and my neck is perfectly straight right now. So this is really amazing. I'm very impressed with this, and I'm into my groove of knitting my sock right now. It is just really wild to me. Well, it's safe to say that I love these, and I actually think I'm going to be using these way more than I thought I would. I probably wouldn't have bought them if they weren't $10 because it just seems like one of those things that I would not like to use. In the past, I've used things like those motion sickness glasses, and those are so uncomfortable. I could not stand them. So I'm really happy that I tried these because I genuinely can see myself using these a lot in the future, and the quality is actually really good. These are pretty sturdy, so I'll definitely link the ones that I bought in the description below. If it isn't already abundantly clear, these get my stamp of approval. I definitely recommend these. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty hard to top those lazy readers. Those were so cool, but we're going to move on to our next gadget on this list. So this is something I'm sure you've seen if you've been on Crochet Talk, and it is the tennis ball crochet ergonomic hook hack. So I personally have never tried this crochet hack. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this, and I would love to know what you think. I'm just going to let it play up here while I talk about it and kind of explain what's going on here. So a lot of people seem to like to use tennis balls, and you cut a hole through either side and you feed one of those basic crochet hooks, the metal ones like this. You can just put those inside of them, and it basically is supposed to help your wrist because of the round shape. But I do see some issues with this, even though I've never tried it myself. So I want to play a TikTok for you as someone explaining why they personally found that it didn't work for them. And I kind of want to make a caveat here and say if this works for you, that is amazing, but I'm skeptical of it, and this is kind of my thought process as to why. So I would love to hear what you think in the comments below. If you have tried this, has it worked for you? I'm gonna go ahead and play the TikTok that basically is explaining why I'm skeptical of the tennis ball ergonomic hook right now.
Why you should be putting a tennis ball on your crochet hook.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't love this. I'm going to show you me crocheting with this, and I'll tell you why I'm not the biggest fan. Firstly, it's quite awkward to poke a hole through. You need to be really careful if you're using something sharp. I use a Stanley knife with gloves, heavy duty gloves, and a tea towel. And then if you wanted to have a bigger hook and like put this on all of your hooks, you'd need another tennis ball for a bigger hook. You then couldn't use that tennis ball for a smaller hook because it would be loose and flop around and not be very comfortable at all. If your natural grip is pencil grip, this isn't going to work for you. You have to hold this in the knife hold, and luckily that's what I do. But all in all, you can see I'm doing like a huge rotation with my hand to like.
So basically you can see here that the creator of this video is saying that it is really tricky for them to poke a hole in the tennis ball that is large enough to use one of these bigger crochet hooks. Like for example, this is a 6.5 millimeter. So I imagine that would be very difficult to do. And then second of all, you can really see that the creator of this video is having to change up the way that they crochet, and it almost looks like they're creating a bigger range of motion, which I can see causing more wrist pain. And again, I think a lot of this depends on how you crochet and how you hold the hook, but for me personally, I think this would do more harm than good. So instead what we're going to do, we're not going to be trying the tennis ball crochet hook hack, but instead we are going to be trying these ones that I found on Amazon, and these were about $5. So these are just these funny little hook handles, and you're going to want to use these with a basic metal hook like this. You want to make sure that you're not using a crochet hook that has a handle on it, but I figured this would just be a good alternative for us to try because I haven't heard people talk about these as much, and they're honestly very cost effective. And also, if I'm being honest, I only have one tennis ball, and I think my dog would be very sad if I stole it from him. So that is why we're using this instead. So I figure we can just go ahead and start by seeing which crochet hook fits into what. I'm thinking this might be, okay, this is too big for the 3.75. So let's go down to the orange one. I think this might be the right size here. One of the first things I'm noticing is that there is a hole in the bottom here, which is a nice feature because that allows you to move this up and down so you can really get the handle exactly where you want it to be. I think this actually feels pretty comfortable to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the cotton yarn that I have on my desk and we're gonna get crocheting with it. Yeah, for me personally, I think this is a much better option. I'm actually really enjoying this and I think it's really easy to use. Not to mention, this is a really cost-effective way to create an ergonomic crochet hook. I've also seen other people use beauty blenders, like a face sponge that you use to put on your makeup, so that's another great option. But honestly, for $5, I really think this is not a bad deal at all, and you can really create basically your own little ergonomic hook for a lot cheaper because some of these ergonomic hooks are upwards of $30 depending on the brand. But this is feeling really comfortable for me, and it's kind of making me want to use my metal hooks again, which is very surprising because I've definitely moved away from these hooks in recent years. But honestly, this is very enjoyable to work with. I really like the feel of this, and it definitely feels a little bit easier on my wrist. So this is definitely something I'm curious to try more in the future. I think I'm gonna have to keep you updated on what I think of this. I can see it changing over time, but so far I'm very impressed, and for only $5, I would say it's worth a try. I'm very surprised at how many things on this list are actually proving to be pretty decent. Also, it looks like this yellow one is fitting my 5mm hook perfectly. So this is my 3.75 millimeter. We have the 5, and look at how cute they look. They're so colorful and fun. And here's like my little swatch that I've made so far using this hook. I think my 6.5 millimeter will fit perfectly into this red one here. Look at that. Okay, I am actually really impressed with these. I'm really liking these so far, so I would recommend them, I think. In my opinion, definitely better than the tennis ball hack. I think this is much more sustainable and actually easier on your wrist. There's something about that big range of motion when you're holding a tennis ball that doesn't feel quite right to me. And I should preface by saying I have not tried it, so who knows? I could be totally wrong. Maybe we'll have to do that in a video in the future. All right, so here's the next TikTok that I saw, and this reminded me that I've been wanting to try this, so let's watch. So obviously this is one of those neck lights that you can use to knit or crochet, and I've been meaning to try one of these forever, but they can get to be pretty pricey on Amazon. I've seen some that are like $50, but I did find one that I believe was about $15, so I'm really excited to try this. I'm actually charging it right now so we can go ahead and try it out, but this is the one that I ordered. It's just a really simple white one, and again, it was pretty inexpensive, so I figured if I hate it, it's totally fine. So it's all charged now, this is what it looks like. It has this really nice feature here where it kind of swivels like this, and then same thing on the other side. And then there's also a few different settings that I want to show you really quick. So we have the power button. I believe this changes the light from like a clear white light to a warmer light. And then over here we have the charging point, which conveniently is the same charging port that I use for my iPhone, so that's really easy. I believe that this setting here changes the way that the light hits your project, so you can have it so that it's kind of separated or together. I believe that's what that means. And then over on this side, you have a really convenient timer that goes for 30 or 60 minutes. And then I believe this is the brightness setting, and there's a few different ones here. So we're gonna go ahead and try this out. I really like how you can move this around a ton if you like as well. Here's what it looks like on my neck, and I'm one of those people that's really bad about reading instructions, but I think that you just go ahead and hold this down. Okay, so the light is on now. Okay, so this adjusts the brightness. It looks like there is 4 different settings, I think. Yes, and then this is the setting that changes the tone of the light. So I'm really excited to try this. I think the best thing we can do right now is head into my closet in my room, and we're gonna go sit in there and see if we can knit in the dark. Okay, welcome to the very back of my closet. It's super dark in here, but I think the camera is making it look a little bit lighter than it actually is. I have my little sock that we were working on earlier, and of course our knitting light. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on now. Wow, this is really bright and very handy how this changes directions. Whoop! Oh my gosh. Okay, so far so good. I'm curious to try it on the warmer setting. So it looks like there's 3 different ones. I actually like this in between the best. This is really nice right here. And then I think I can angle it, which is very helpful. It looks like I'm about to start telling a spooky story or something, but I promise we're just about to knit my socks. So let's go ahead and try. I mean, so far this is actually really amazing. I mean, I was expecting this to be pretty good. I'm curious how the battery life is. I might have to check the Amazon reviews on that. That's really the only concern that I would have with a product like this, is how that battery life would hold up. But this is amazing, and the fact that you can change the direction of this, you can completely bend this headpiece so you can really have it however you like. You could cross it or do whatever. I really like this, and honestly this is something that I'm really excited about because my husband is one of those people that just likes to watch TV with no lights on, but the problem is we can rarely ever do that because I'm constantly working on a knit or crochet project. But I feel like if I'm doing this, it's going to be so helpful, and he can have the light off while we're watching our movie or something. So this is definitely another thing that I'm recommending. I'm actually very surprised with how many good products we've been able to try in this video. I feel like we haven't really had one that's been bad yet. It's really fun to move these pieces around because they just move so seamlessly. Whee! Okay, let's go try the next thing. For this next one, I'm honestly super bummed because I just finished up my tube of Clorox wipes recently. I thought I held on to the container, but somehow I must have thrown it away or something. But I'm gonna go ahead and play the TikTok where I got this idea from now.
Things I use for crochet that are not meant for crochet. Part 5. Clorox Wipes Container. This protects your yarn from dust and your cat, and it is perfect for people that like the center pull.
So I'm really sad because I know that this is one that I would love, and maybe some of you will get to try this for me and let me know what you think. I was planning on including it in this video, but unfortunately I do not have the Clorox tube. So instead, I will let you try this one for me, but I'm really confident that this is such an amazing little crochet gadget, if you will. It's something you might already have around your house, but specifically if you are a cat lover like myself, you can probably relate to your cat to getting into your yarn or getting cat hair on your yarn, especially if you're working on a custom order. You really don't want to be having your pet hair all over that stuff. So this could be a really nice thing for that. Just a really nice way to keep your yarn clean and tangle free and away from your cats. But I will just say that if you are someone who does not enjoy a center pull, this might not be the hack for you. This is definitely geared more towards the center pull method, so I have a feeling it would work super well for that. Unfortunately, I cannot give you my stamp of approval because I have not tried this one yet. yet, but I'm hopefully planning to do so in a vlog or something very soon. And the last two things we have to talk about on today's list are things that I have already personally tried and I do love them. So I have already given you my stamp of approval on these things, but I feel like they would just be fun to include in this video sort of as a little bonus. So the first of those that I have to talk about is the pop-it counter, and this is something that I've talked about time and time again on my channel. I mentioned in the beginning of this video that I had my own personal viral crochet gadget video, and this is what I was referring to. So this little thing is so amazing and I just love it so much. So I shared about this on my Instagram at the very beginning of Hooks and Healers. I believe it was almost 2 years ago at this point, if not already 2 years ago. And this video has over 2.5 million views at this point. There are so many people that I've seen tag me in this and just say how much they love it as well. I am realizing now I've been holding it upside down this entire time, but this is essentially just a little pop-it row counter, and it is numbered 1 through 100, which I think is the perfect size for something like this. So this is definitely more project dependent. I do love this, but it has its time and its place, and it's not for everything. So if you're working on an amigurumi project that has a bunch of rounds of the same thing, it is great for that. But my new favorite use for this is actually when I knit socks. It is so perfect for keeping track of the rounds of your sock because it can get to be really confusing and hard to keep track of sock knitting because the stitches are so small, the yarn is so thin, and it can just be really hard to count them. So this is my favorite way to keep track. I've had this for 2 years now. I use it all the time. I absolutely love this thing and I can't recommend it enough. And again, this is another one of those things that will cost you less than $10. I just find it to be one of the easiest ways for me to keep track because it's easy for me to remember when I touch the little pop-it because it's kind of satisfying. It makes a little click sound and then my brain kind of registers that I counted that round already. In the past, I've had this issue with other types of row counters where I can't remember if I counted the round or not, and then it can be really confusing. But this is definitely one of my favorite crochet hacks of all time. Maybe I'm a little biased because I shared it myself, but you know what? I know a lot of people love this too, and I'm confident you will too if you try this. And the last little gadget that I have to share with you on this list is my most recent discovery, and this kind of happened by accident about a week ago actually, and it's sitting right behind me here. So basically I realized I had a cookbook holder that I have used maybe once or twice, and it occurred to me that I could use this to stand up my crochet pattern books because I noticed after a while I tend to not gravitate towards my pattern books because I don't want to have to worry about them standing up or losing the page or whatever. And so it's super nice to just have this sitting here on my desk where I can just look at it. It is right in front of me, and I actually think it looks really cute as well. It's like a fun little book display. So I've been working on a granny square blanket and I just have the little pattern sitting right up there. So when I decide to make another granny square, I just have it sitting right in front of me. I cannot recommend this enough. And personally, some of my favorite hacks are the things that I already have in my home, and this is one of those. You might have as well. This could also work with like a little photo stand as well if you have something like that. There are a lot of different ways that you can kind of prop up a book like this, and I think it is a great little hack, a very inexpensive hack as well, and even a great way to display your favorite pattern in your little craft room. You could put it up on a shelf or something, or keep on your desk so that you remember that you want to make a pattern. I just think it's a really fun way to do that. So those were the 7 different crochet gadgets that I had to try and share with you, and I'm actually very surprised. I think I liked all the different gadgets that we had on this list. I was really expecting the glasses to be a total flop, and I was also on the fence about the knitting light, but I really liked all of the things that we tried in this video. So I'm very happy to report that I didn't waste any money in the process of creating this video, which is always a good thing. If you have tried any of these little gadgets, I would love to hear your thoughts on them, if they differ from mine, or if you had the same experience and really enjoyed these things. I think it would be so fun to hear. Personally, I loved everything on this list, but if I had to pick a favorite, it would probably be the glasses. I think they're just so cool and something I will definitely use when I'm experiencing neck pain. I really love that all of these gadgets were on the cheaper side, so they're a lot less daunting to try out, but I also am not going to feel so bad if I'm not using them every day. And I don't think I will be using these things every day, but I do think they're nice to have on hand depending on the situation I'm in, whether it be neck pain or in a dimly lit room where I want to crochet. So I hope you enjoyed the video and found some helpful insight here. I honestly had so much fun reviewing all of these gadgets and sharing them with you. We can definitely do a part 2 in the future if that's something you'd be interested in. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss miss any future videos from me. And with all of that being said, I will see you in the next one. Bye!